Dear friends, it's lovely to see you all here in Tallinn Digital Summit. I hope you have enjoyed the flow of information that definitely I have. I'm going to tell you about some lessons learned as a cybersecurity partner for Ukraine. I'm going to tell you a little about the future, how we see it in Estonia, where the digital government should be heading at. But first off, in our sector, walk of shame is defined as when the IT minister is walking on stage with a stack of papers. But now I have a new word for it, and that's resilience, of course. So let's start off. What we have learned from Ukraine is actually, the first one would be that not only countries that are next to Russia have a border with Russia. Actually, every single country in the world has a digital border with Russia. And every country is a border country in the cyberspace. This means that these challenges that we face are not only for Eastern Europe. They are from everybody. And so far, where we have had success is the financial sector, is where they get attacked every day, not to political reasons, but also economical reasons. And let me give you a hint. This is actually where the talent is coming from. They have the know-how, so it's really important to work together with them. The second off is it's a controversial topic because mindset is changing. And the topic is, should we be headed for cloud or not? The classical way of thinking is that, of course, very strict rules for holding information is always better. But when we look what Ukraine did during the first weeks when the war escalated, then it was actually moving servers away from the war. And we saw that actually this kind of infrastructure is being targeted with kinetic force. So if we hold the information that is most dearly to us in the same place where our physical threats are at, then at the same time we hamper our resilience to deal with problems that might arise. And they don't even have to be a war. There can be lots of scary stuff that I don't want to share with you. but the baseline of the solution remains the same. And the third part that I almost hinted already, but let me hint that again, is actually the strong cooperation with the private sector. If you look at our livelihoods, how much we are connected to the private sector services. Even, let me give you an example. Would you be happy that all the information during a crisis you get from the single state media, or at the same time when there's a crisis you would like to be connected with your loved ones? So these are the questions when we are setting up communications, not only providing the right message, but actually decentralizing, working together with the private sector to provide these kinds of services that are actually critical for trust, for the trust to remain in the public sector and between the people. Next off is we see that the cybersecurity landscape has changed a lot. And now the questions are, what are the solutions? So I think you can say in a short that there are silver bullets, but they still cost money. So without money you can't do anything basically. And for that reason we are strong supporter of giving more direct investments into cybersecurity. Estonia just now raised the permanent budget allocations to IT security by 20%. We strongly believe that there should be at least a 10% minimum. Of course, this raises a question like, how do you calculate what is an investment into cybersecurity and what is not? I strongly believe that actually the cyber hygiene begins with architecture. And quite proud of what we have done here in Estonia 20 years ago, or the decisions to move onto X-Road has not only given us a quick way to connect with others in a fast way, provide new services that we couldn't imagine without that. Private sector is using over half of the X-Road traffic. Even startups can actually connect with several databases from the government. But it's also about the security, because when we have unified regulations, this gets more and more secure, more fast, and more resilient when we face crises that we can't foresee right now. And also, I think there is a lot of room for cooperation. We're doing that right now. I have actually seen visually how Estonia is targeted last with computer viruses, because we give information to other countries how to see them, how to fight against them, and it shows visually. I was amazed by this, but I think a broader picture can be defined with old saying by military recon officers, and the saying is that every soldier gives information. Every soldier is a source of information, of reconnaissance, is a sensor. And the same should apply for cybersecurity. We still have the problems where small e-shops are afraid to say that they got attacked. They're afraid to say they get attacked, they got ransomware, when they were attacked. If we get that kind of information flowing to the public sector, then we can actually address these issues much more quickly, help those cases, do more analysis, etc. Thirdly, I would like to share the vision of Estonia's future, of the digital government. I'm sorry to say, but Ukraine has done a lot in this sector already. You saw the DIA presentation. Like, to sum up, that's the way we are heading. but still, there's room for innovation even in there. And I think the focus, in big terms, should be less on functionality, new functionality. It should be, like in the private sector, more about usability. That actually it's pleasant to use governmental services. It's you know where to find them, and we can take a step forward from that actually. And the best UX is no UX. We can do automatically stuff that you actually need. This is how we've used AI as an assistant, and we're taking a step forward, doing stuff automatically behind, it's connected with the event services that I think several of member countries are developing right now. We're pushing for pilots right now. I have 10 seconds more, but I'm just going to go on. Doesn't stop me, like the e-government. But yeah, the main concept would be that the government services should be there where the citizens are. If they are at home using their fridge, a smart fridge, the government you should be able to connect with your government there if you want to. To sum up, I'm quite, I would say, results-driven. And when I heard this panel talk about being constantly ready for the next thing, I don't think we'll be ready for the next crisis. But what we can do is have an architecture that gives us opportunity or freedom of maneuver, as military guys say, and the trust. So again, the thought I was thinking about for the past 2 days is why this event feels so good, honestly. Because is it because the organizing team is so good? Probably, but I think the second pillar for that is actually that the need has risen. The need for these kinds of conferences where we meet, where we shake hands, when we agree upon systems that we are going to implement when the crises are going to hit us, and when we stand together supporting Ukraine. I think Europe has done a great job on this so far, and we're going to keep on heading that way. These are the KPIs that we should measure with these kinds of conferences, these kinds of summits, or festivals, if you count yesterday's party. But this is how we build trust. This is how we, and together with trust, actually they're quite technical guys here, and we can see this peak time infrastructure ideas, not only cables, not only satellites, but much, much more. And so the KPIs truly are, next year we want to see more trust, more capabilities, more connectivity. And I won't abuse your time any longer. It was truly an honor to have you here. I hope you've learned as much as I have. All the best. Thank you.